Welcome viewers to our next episode of Expert Speak, brought to you by Aditi Organics, where we've been talking to various experts from the agriculture field on farming practices, sustainable practices, organic farming, among others. My guest today is Mr. H.B. Kulkarni, who is the founder of Federation for Reforming Farmer Produce Societies. So welcome, Mr. Kulkarni. Really excited to have you with us here today.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction and giving me an opportunity to address this gathering. To begin with, I would like to start with a definition of a blockchain, which is a distributed database or a ledger that is shared among the nodes of computer network. As a database, a blockchain stores information electronically in digital format. Blockchains are best known for their crucial role in cryptocurrency systems such as Bitcoin, for maintaining secure and decentralized record of transactions. The innovation with blockchain is that it guarantees the fidelity, security, record of data, generate trust without the need of trusted third party. Okay. One key difference between typical database and blockchain is how the data is structured. The blockchain collects information together in groups known as blocks or chunks that holds set of information. Blocks have certain storage capacities, and then when filled are closed and linked to the previous filled blocks, forming a chain of data known as a blockchain. All new information that follows that freshly added block is compiled into newly formed blocks, and then will also it added to the chain that is filled.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The database usually structures its data into tables, whereas in blockchain, it is named in place itself, it's structured into data or into chunks that are together. This data structure inherently makes an irreversible timeline of the data when implemented in a decentralized nature. When a block is filled, it is set into stone and becomes a part of its timeline. Each block in chain is given an exact timestamp when it is added to the chain. It is unfungible, non-editable, and then once the structure is done, and nobody can enter into that.
So thank you for setting that context. So thank you for setting that context around blockchain. I think most of them typically think that blockchain is associated, like you rightly said, more with cryptocurrencies, financial institutions, among others. Very few actually think about its relevance from an agriculture standpoint. So maybe if you could talk a bit of saying how does it actually, how is it connected to farmers, consumers, exporters, and what are the kind of benefits that it can offer them? Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
We do, we capture the entire data from starting from the pre-sowing activities to post-harvesting, and then the processing till it reaches to the consumer. When it reaches to the consumer, it will be either having a traceability code in the barcode form or even your QR code. If it is a QR code and the scanner is available, the customer can scan that QR code and he will come to know where is the farmland, who is the farmer, what are the package of practices he has practiced, which brand of seeds he has sown, when he has sown, what is the quantity he has used, and then what are the inputs he has used, like bio-certified approved inputs, like bioinoculants or bioherbicides or whatever it is, right? And the biopesticides if it is required also, right? And all these things get recorded and it will become a block till that get harvested. And if he has in between availed any kind of loan or something, that also brought into this transaction. But consumer need not go into those details actually, right? Our consumer point of view, who is a farmer, where is the farmland, what are the package of practices, whether he has used the approved inputs or not, and if any unapproved, seeds means of fertilizer or pesticides used, like synthetic fertilizer, right? If he is procuring the organic certified food, then it is a prohibited one. If it is a normal conventional food, then he need not worry. Only thing his worry should be whether it is containing the nutritional parameters set by the standards as per the FSSI or any other standard parameters. Number two, whether the pesticides are within the permissible limits or not. Right? Most of in Punjab and Haryana, you might have noticed, they use excess amount of synthetic fertilizer and pesticides. And those residues are also found in the product itself, and which causes the health effect. Especially in Punjab, each and every house, there will be one or two cancer patients. So these are all cascading effects. When it comes to the certified organic food certification, we need to follow stringent norms, starting from the pre-sowing activities, preparation of the land, identifying the land parcel itself. If he is a marginal farmer and he would like to go for organic certification, means we should not allow him to do that actually, unless until he come with a group of farmers with the farmland sizable at least to make it to 40 to 50 acres. Then only it makes sense. Or else what happen if someone comes with 2-3 acres or 5 acres, the land is abutted with other conventional farmers. The conventional farmers keep on adding synthetic fertilizers and pesticides whenever he applies, unless until there is sufficient margin is available with this farmer, he has made available. These synthetic fertilizer and pesticides residue again come to the farmland of this certified organic cultivator. So unless until you have a size of farmland and water is not entering from the outside, and even the sufficient boundary lines are kept in between to avoid that synthetic pesticides application or whatever it is entering to by virtue of air or something. So these are all norms we need to follow. Number one. Number two, again the farmland need to be demarked specially with the polygon and other thing, and soil need to be tested. The previous residues need to be ascertained, and what are the components that kept on adding to the fertility and fertigation of that soil and other thing that need to be tracked. And what is the crop cycle and what is the crop that is intended to produce there, whether it is as per the scope certificate issued by the certification agency or not. Like Aditi, he has certified farmland and the crop cycle is given, scope certificate connotes something and farmer wanted to cultivate something. Who is going to change that certificate then? Number one. Number two, even if he asks you to change and you have changed it, whether he is going to follow the protocols prescribed by you or not, who is going to record that? Unless until you have deputed someone periodically and he is making intervention and he goes physically to verify that crop growth and ascertain what is recommended and what much he has applied and whether he has deviated from the farm practices or what. These things need to be monitored, not only by the farmer, even he need to record on his own. Apart from the third party, even assayer need to assess it and he need to verify those records and he needs to certify those things also. This is a cumbersome effort where the certification agencies are lacking the field stop. Even if they depute field stop for particular farmland or something, the cost is absorbed. Correct. Suppose Aditi is there in Bangalore and if you are certifying farmer in Shimoga, one visit itself will cost you more than 2,000, 3,000 rupees. In a crop cycle, we need to visit at least 10 times. To bring it from tree sowing to the post harvesting. Again, post harvesting, we need to certify that harvested quantities with a grain factor. Apart from this, the certification agencies also need to maintain the inventory of the farmer. That is where the problem lies actually. Now, what happens if you certify it and you allow him to issue a transaction certificate and you allow him to sell it to third party? What he does is he sell it to the XYZ company and he gives your transaction certificate and his previous certificates, scope certificate and other things. The procurer, if he is a certified retailer, suppose he has procured 1x quantity from this gentleman.
Sir, you're on mute.
So this malfunction happens. There is no prevention happening. Means you can't intervene in between. There is no control on the inventory of that retailer unless until he is brought into your blockchain. and his trade cycle is also controlled by you. His inventory, inward, outward inventory need to be maintained by us. And to whom he is selling, who is the end consumer, what is his credentials, right? Then the data, misusing of that quantities, that will get, even the farmer also can't sell apart from that produced certified quantities, he can't sell that additional quantities prepared from the conventional farming.
Correct.
Right? So this is where the intervention is required. Not only in farming side, cultivation side, even the distribution side also we need to maintain the transparency.
That's interesting that you covered about all aspects from sowing to.
Suppose if it is cereals or pulses or any spices or something, you are certified that brand, and even farmer is also practiced as per your protocol and other thing. He has sold that 1x quantity to that XYZ processor. The processors also need to be brought into the blockchain.
Correct.
His inward outward inventory, his processing protocols need to be recorded. And his batch number, his expiry dates, all these things will be need to be recorded. Right? Changes in the entry. If he 1x quantity, he can't sell 10x or 100x. Right now, it is missing completely. Correct. What they do, they catch hold of a few farmers with a scope certificate and all. It may be a few hundred quintals or something. Whereas he's selling in 1,000 metric tons by producing same set of document if somebody is asking. Being a consumer, if I scan, I'm getting one particular this thing. I am identifying who is a farmer, where is the farmland and other thing. And after some time, say maybe after a month or 2 months, or with some other batch number or something, if I scan same QR code, I'm getting the same farmer details again and again. Whereas the farmer is a marginal farmer, he may not have produced more than 5 quintal or 6 quintal. Whereas this MNC company is having a huge amount of quantities by producing same set of documents. This is where the gullible consumer is paying a huge price, premium price, thinking that he is eating healthy food. On the contrary, it is unlike actually. Farmer is getting distributed with his set of certification. The procurer is misusing his certificates also. And the whole system will come onto cloud. And the biggest example is the consignments which gone to Europe got rejected due to the excess quantity of pesticides residues availability and that, right? And APEDA got compelled to suspend the licenses of a few organizations.
Correct.
No way they are connected to this. No way they are in default actually. But the system itself is not robust. Correct. The APEDA itself doesn't got any standard protocol to implement or recommend or make it compulsory on the part of farmers, producers, as well as even the storage people, processing people, retail people, and till the end consumer. Apart from that, this 29, 30 even organic certification agencies, whom you are going to record, where it is getting reflected, who is going to access that information.
So how do you suggest they start off on this? So what do you suggest is a good way of approaching this entire problem that you have spoken about right now?
Sir, beyond the problem, the data enablers, the technology introducer themselves have made it inaccessible to any institution or individual for that matter. When I approach established players and even the new startup companies, they prescribe me fees of 1,200 rupees per farmer per acre. Can you think that any farmer can bear that kind of cost? And if I ask a certification company to bear that cost, he says, sir, I am charging hardly 2,500 rupees per farmer. And where I can afford this kind of payment? Then apart from that, I need to keep a tab on his protocols, the practices. I need to even visit his farmland. Yes. If he is unable to afford that farmland, then I have to go along with his undertakings given in writing. Yeah. Right. So relying on the undertaking given by the farmer, we can't say that it is 100% organically produced as per the protocol. Number two, one more problem with the organic certification is there is a PGS, there is a NPOP, POP, then Jaivik Bharat. This is again a problem area. If it's a PGS, again there is a 3 years conversion period, that is a blue. Then 4th year it is becoming green. The person who is certified, if he says it's a conversion period, whether it's a PGS 1 year, 2nd year, 3rd year, nobody knows. It is only blue. And the person who is producing it, he is also under a doldrum, whom to sell it and who is going to procure it, and what is the inventory implications on that actually. If it is a NPOP certified, the retailer also is in consideration which rack I have to put it and when to sell it. And the production of food traceability and provenance, again, it is a problematic area unless until every person, every entity, every organization is brought into the system, it will not become a robust system. And we can't give the correct picture of the food item what we are producing.
So it's not just about the technology, but a lot of these things which need to be put in fundamentals to be brought in, right? Before the technology can actually enable further transparency.
Yeah, to make this, I'm, for this reason only, I'm asking the farmers to get aggregated, especially village to village. If you want to cultivate in an organic manner, if you want to bring your farmland into organic certification, at least make a size of 50 acres. Separate this thing, elevated, at least no water should be entered from the outside. Number one. Number two, the farmland should be demarcated properly. And the cultivation system should be predefined, and the protocols need to be set, and you should not deviate from that protocol. And the recording starts from the polygon of the land parcel, and then the demarcation of the land parcel for a different crop cultivation, and then different crop cultivation based upon the soil testing. The recommendations will be there. What need to be applied at what time, what interval, what quantities, like that. And all these records need to be maintained, starting from the flowing to the till harvesting. So the timely record of soil management record should be there separately. Crop management record should be there, and even financial record should be there. If the farmer wanted to avail any crop loan or something, we ask the farmer to upload even 14 documents required by the financial institution, so that the banker can see his application online, and he can grant the loan amount within a few hours, instead of asking him to run pillar to post to gather all these information frequently. And even after the harvesting of that particular crop, he won't get even the crop loan. This is the sorry status of this thing. And for natural calamity purpose, we ask the banker to insure it to cover back his whatever that amount he's granting as a loan, right? Then comes your recording, the flowing stage, then ground preparation. If the seeds procured from the third party, that third party seed producer also brought into the certification. That whatever seeds, preparation, whatever chemicals he is using, whether it is approved, limited, or what it is, we need to define that also. We need to ask the farmers to procure seeds, if it is procured from outside, from such and such companies, and you need to check their certifications with a QR code. And if it is permitted, then only you make use of it, or else you just avoid that seeds. Number one. Number two, the input providers, they need to brought into the system.
Correct.
Their inventory, whether it is a herbal based, plant based, or even bioculture based, whether they are following the protocols, whether they are certified by the certification agency, whether their inputs are good enough to leave the free from the residues once the food stuff is produced, right? And once their inventory is also maintained, so the farmer whosoever is applying will come to know what is the quantity procured on such and such day with the batch number, whether it is a valid date to given use or not. he has procured on a particular X date and he has kept unused inventory, and if it is already expired, and if he goes and keep on applying means it becomes a poison.
Correct.
Not only to the crop, even for the end produce there will be traceability, right?
Correct.
The chemical residue traceability found by an end product means it should be get discarded. Correct. And he will be at under loss.
Correct.
Right. So then comes your in between the pest infection will be there. As the crop keep on growing and due to climatic changes, there will be a number of pest infection. Yeah. Right. A particular crop cycle level and climatic condition, different set of infections keep on happening. We need to predict that in advance. We need to give the prediction of weather as well as pest prediction in advance. We need to advise in what need to be sprayed, when, what quantity, and other things. And those things also kept recording accordingly. The sowing getting recorded, the crop growth is getting recorded periodically every 10 days or 12 days, and the pest infection is getting predicted, and again the prescribed once the application is happened, that also get recorded, and then post harvesting the quantity obtained, grading as per the grading, whether he has kept himself for self consumption or selling to the third party. If he is selling to the third party, the procurer must be a certified agency, means a processing unit or a retail unit or whatever it is, and their inventory need to be maintained properly. If 1,000 farmers procured from different locations, geographies, those things need to be also entered into. His inventory need to be maintained. Whenever he is selling that quantities to the third party or the end consumer, even that entry need to be entered, and the quantity need to be deleted from his inventory. Right?
So the potential is unlimited.
Yes.
To kind of summarize what all you are saying, I think the potential to bring in a lot more traceability and transparency into the entire end-to-end cycle. Blockchain can be a very crucial.
This data is made available to the farmer, banker, insurance company, input providers, certification agency, state level agency, central level agency, and then the end procurer. Each one is having a limited access to the data, whatever his commercial or whatever his interest is lying with that.
Interesting.
Right.
So I think thank you, sir, for giving this entire perspective of how blockchain can actually make an impact in this sector. What are some of the fundamentals that we need to put in place before actually bringing into this technology, and all the areas that actually this blockchain technology can enable various stakeholders in this entire farming ecosystem itself. So I think these inputs are very useful for our viewers. And thank you once again for sharing these insights with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.